politics is not for the rancorous, so that's how it should be. And I'll try and keep to that.
Hello there, welcome to Let's Talk Ghana. It's a Friday edition of the show from our studios here, Studios 2 TV. I am Eric Mawenegbe. Always a pleasure to welcome you to this news podcast where we seek to put Ghana first in all of our conversations. On today's edition, the wranglings within the governing New Patriotic Party and now former member Alan Kyerematen appear far from over. He's been granted a series of interviews. One of notice is the one granted to City TV, where he said a lot more in relation to the people behind the veil who are pulling the strings. We'll hear exactly what Alan Kyerematen has been saying in that exclusive interview. Also, some civil society organizations have been raising concerns about the two individuals appointed, Dr. Peter Apiahene and Madam Tijani, as commissioners of the Electoral Commission. What exactly have they been saying? We'll hear from the CSOs and bring you a reaction shortly. All of these and more here on Let's Talk Ghana. Stay with us. We're back shortly. You're welcome back to Let's Talk Ghana here on Studios 2 Television. This is the show where we put Ghana first in all of our conversations. And we're going straight into our very first conversation. It has to do with the former NPP flag bearer, hopeful, and former member of the party, as a matter of fact, Alan Kyerematen, who has resigned, says he's going as an independent candidate, is a leader of the Movement for Change, which is not a political party, but just a movement where he's seeking to become president. You can vote for your MPs from the different political parties, but let an independent individual sit at the helm of affairs and manage all of it and see to bring in all of the best of the natural resources and thinking human resources to bear in helping develop the country. Well, the governing New Patriotic Party on Wednesday, as we brought to you, did not take kindly to it, responded, and Alan has subsequently been granted media interviews in that light. Well, in this exclusive interview he granted City TV, which we will be showing to you, he went a bit further than he has done in all of his interviews, explaining the issues, laying bare how he has played an important role in the NPP, and particularly on the subject of some faceless individuals who have taken over the party really. Here's what Alan Kyerematen told a mentor of mine, Bernard Kokuavle, in that exclusive interview.
Are you not aware, or you have not heard, that there are people behind the curtain who have more influence in governance now than even ministers? You have not heard? No, I mean, now that you are asking, you have not heard about people behind the curtain who have significant influence and control in the party. When we started in 1992, where were they, those so-called behind the curtain gentlemen? So, you know, that if people don't want to, I mean, I have, and sometimes my own friends think that I'm too calm, I'm too gentle, you know, but I mean, that's how it should be. You know, politics is not for the rancorous, so that's how it should be. And I'll try and keep to that. But when I have to make sure that I speak against things that do not augur well for the nation, I'll do so. I pick my fights.
Tactically, your campaign team said to us that your real base was the 200,000 and that the super delegates was just a selection. So that it was just a question of being in the top 5. Some of those 200,000 who supported you will feel let down that you've left. Because they could have said, look, when we get to the real voting, they will vote for you. But you've left them in the lurch.
I disagree with my own team. They kept on making some of these statements. This Adru Usu thing, I kept on telling them that you're underselling me by making it seem as if, oh, Alan is just sitting there and he feels entitled to it. And so, you know, I kept on telling them that is not the kind of label befitting somebody who has worked to deserve, you know, to lead the party. So I disagreed with them on even the Eduoso label. And I disagreed with them also on their own understanding of what you are now referring to, that, oh, the super delegates, you can already predict where the allegiance will be, and that if it gets to 200,000. That's why in my earlier statement in exiting, I said that the value will be the same. It's not going to change because the delegates, this is the 200,000, who put them there? It's the same establishment. Who controls those 200,000 people?
Right, so Alan Kojocha maintained in that exclusive interview, and like I always say, we'll look ahead to what happens November 4, because there was intel as well which suggested that the president was meeting Kennedy Japan. All of that and more will come up in the conversations that we'll be having subsequently. But we're moving away from this, and civil society groups in the country, the Coalition of Domestic Election Observers, CDD Ghana, IDEC, that's the Institute of Democratic Development Ghana, and the likes. They, at a roundtable discussion yesterday, raised concerns about the appointment of two EC commissioners. Dr. Peter Piahene and Madam Tijani have become the subject of contention for quite a while. The NDC raised the case and, in fact, took the matter to the Supreme Court. Roxy Nelson Dapiamekpo, who's South Dai MP, has taken that matter to court. There's yet to be a determination on that said matter, but the civil society groups yesterday had reason to raise a similar concern as well. Here is Dr. Kojo Asante Pumpuni, who's an executive member of CDD, or a director. He's in a directorship position, speaking on behalf of the CSOs, who say, look, it's an issue of concern, and we might also be forced to go to court if nothing is done in this regard. Here's what he had to say at that roundtable discussion.
That Kodeo has looked at, if that option is not there. But I think we will say that is their sacrifice that they can make to Ghana. For me, that's the way I look at it. If they appreciate where we are coming from, I think that could be done. And I think the government can find other places, that they could easily serve. It is not about their competency and their capacity. I'm sure there are many other places where they can serve fully and without all that implication that we have for our elections. We also talk about continuing to appeal to the EC, but as I said, the EC process is almost done. So, and even the court cases have not been heard, so I don't know what effect that will have. Strengthen communication strategy to provide continuous comprehensive.
And so, Dr. Kojo Asante Pumpuni is with the CDD, but speaking on behalf of the coalition, let's subject this to a bit of an analysis. Dr. Jonathan Asante-Otre is a political analyst with the University of Cape Coast. He's joined us on the telephone lines for a conversation. Doc, many thanks for speaking to us. Doc, a lot of people remember the concerns which were raised by the NDC. It's become a subject of a Supreme Court hearing, dates yet to be fixed as we know, or final determination to be given to the matter yet to be known. But now, civil society organizations as well are raising the red flags over the same matter, and even adding that they will go to court over this should nothing be done, if that is, they don't resign.
Well, quite impressive. Yeah. So let me say good evening to your listeners. The point is that elections and its acceptability thrive on transparency, honesty, fairness. Now, the Constitution, as it were, provides a situation where we have the Electoral Commission who are supposed to be referees, but not a kind of players and referees at the same time. Now, it is often the case that if things of that nature, if we gloss our eyes over things of that nature, they are a recipe for future disaster. Because I've always said that if you lose, you should lose on transparent ground. It shouldn't be that someone is thinking that someone has been quite manipulative behind the scenes, for which reason you have lost. For the president to do such appointment leave much to be desired. I think that our president has been quite incredulous. And you see, the Constitution, in its own wisdom, tells that an executive president will be divorced from things of that nature. But of course, I think that having this issue resurrected by these civil society organizations, it is quite good, because it doesn't always have to be the opposition, so that people look at these issues as though they are partisans. But people like some of us, the CSOs, ordinary Ghanaians, and when you know things of that nature, the person has been in the public domain doing things of that nature, it tells me that our president lacks integrity. It's as if the president has planned something beforehand, you see, and you are creating more room for people to doubt the process even before, it gets rolled. And things of that nature, we need to, as ordinary Ghanaians, think tanks, CSOs, we need to voice our grievances when it comes to things of that nature, because we only have one country. Parties must come, parties must go. Our democracy must stay. Because if the process is mad and there is a military takeover, where will be the opportunity for you to come to power? You will not get that opportunity. And believe you me, you shouldn't always think that you have people protecting you. Those protecting you equally have families that they must also protect. So you need to forthright, you see, and think of the fact that there was someone in power, you won and you came. You shouldn't think that you want to be a king god and that your party should stay in perpetuity. It just does not work like that. The mandate of the people must be clear, and that whom they decide to give that mandate to should not be thwarted by the effort of some kind of miscreant within our system. I don't think that it augurs well for our democracy. We have been a beacon of Africa. We have our own flaws in terms of some of these things that we are even coming down. Press freedom, we are coming down. Peace and others, we are even experiencing some insecurities in the north. Today we are talking about terrorism and other things. All these things are precursors. If we are not careful and look at the issues as it ought to be, so that whoever wins, wins, whoever loses, loses, and we all accept and move on, I think that we are heading towards a kind of doom that will not augur well for all of us. And so I'm very happy that they are even threatening that if they don't resign, they will take the next step. I hope our court, the judges, will look into that and also understand that, look, this is one country that we all belong. You are a judge because the Constitution is active. If the Constitution is overthrown, where lies your locus within the system?
That's Dr. Jonathan Asante-Otri speaking to us. There is a political analyst with the University of Cape Coast. On the mention of the Electoral Commission, we're just going to stay with them because they are insisting on using the Ghana card for future registrations for individuals to get onto the country's electoral roll. At a news conference yesterday, Dr. Bosman Asare, who's the Deputy Commissioner of the Electoral Commission, used the registration process, which is currently ongoing, and minors which are being registered as basis to say that, look, the Ghana card is the surest way to go. Here are excerpts of that news conference they had yesterday.
Preliminarily, we will say that there are a lot of factors why people are bringing the Ghana card, people are using the guarantor system, which we need to get into it. But clearly, it's possible some people may not be qualified. And because they are not qualified, they are hiding under the cloak of the guarantor system to be able to get onto the register. For example, the video and the pictures we show to you, all those people, per the information at our disposal, they were coming through the guarantor system. And you saw them with some papers. Did you see that their ages had been written on those papers for them? So when they enter, they will show you, my name is this, I was born on this, and I'm 18 years old. That's what you can see. So I think that if you make the guarantor available, people will use it. And if you have the Ghana card also available, compared statistics to us, about 17.5 million people have been issued the Ghana card. And I think the media, you want to have a very credible register. All of us want to have a very credible register. And the Electoral Commission is convinced that the guarantor system has outlived its usefulness. And there was a related question. What happened to the challenge system? Because the guarantor system has outlived its usefulness, the challenge system is also a problem. And the commission is saying to avoid all this, everyone who comes to us to register as a voter must come on his own terms. Recently, we had the EU Observer Mission. When they came, one of the things they told the Electoral Commission was that it's outmoded or it's antiquated for somebody to come and vote for the citizenship or for the age of another person in 21st century Ghana. And when you talk about election management, Ghana is the best in the sub-region and even in the continental-wide. So we are committed. Our objective is to ensure that we have a system that is very scientific, that is very, very credible. I think there was a question of whether the EC would take its chances with the CI. Yeah, I think as Hansen Ajimai, as you pointed out, it's in the Constitution, Article 11, I think Article 11.7, that when it comes to laying of CI, the EC is supposed to. You lay it in Parliament by 2/3 majority. But I think the EC, our job is, we don't work for ourselves. The chair and the team, our objective is to let's come together and let's build a system that all Ghanaians will be proud of. So we are not saying by hook or crook, but what the commission is saying, we want to work with Parliament, the media, the civil society, so that all of us will understand that the level we've gotten to as a country, we need a system that is very, very robust.
So that's Dr. Bosman Asare, the Deputy Commissioner of the Electoral Commission. On that note, we're going for a break. When we return, we'll tell you about the support which is being whipped up by the NDC ahead of the Occupy Bank of Ghana protest. Stay with us. This is Let's Talk Ghana. You're welcome back to Let's Talk Ghana. This is the show where we put Ghana first in all of our conversations. So after Occupy Julobi House protest, there's an Occupy Bank of Ghana protest, and the NDC, the minority, and other civil society groups, Arise Ghana, COPEC, and the likes, they have been whipping up support towards their October 3 Occupy BOG protest. A group have been to Ododo already, and yesterday they were at Ashaiman to get support from members there to pour onto the streets come October 3 in their numbers to protest against the Bank of Ghana and the 60 billion cedis loss which was posted in 2022. Our cameras were there. Here's what we captured for you.
I see a 25% of that money. You cannot do more than that. And Brandon says, oh, person, we are more than that. You must write. And Brandon says, that is honorable Akufo-Addo, the minority leader in Parliament. You are welcome. And yes, honorable Akufo-Addo. Now, the Yaki said, bank bit to me the 97 our party cottage. I have got Mukoka, we are children or no, and a summit and fee bites and all by on the and yet, Sikagana Sikana make a 170. So, over 20 Sikanoa.
All right then, That's our show for you today. I am Eric Mawina Igbeta. We'll return again soon enough. Many thanks for watching.
Studios 2 TV. The truth is here, in your eyes.